I think we're live. What's good, people? My name is Troy Nelson Bibbins Jr., and today is an exciting day for me. I'm about to show you all or showcase all the commitment, hard work that I have been, partaking in for a while now. And I mean, to be honest, you can say it was hard work, but in order to make that shift in your life or, stand out from the crowd, is all you have to really do is a little bit, by increments. You don't have to make this big, huge gallop or become a millionaire overnight. Everything is a process. But I think if you continue to work at it little by little, you can, as opposed to the person that's not working on it at all, or maybe once every couple of months they wake up and they're motivated about something and they just decide to do it on that day. Then they tell themselves, hey, I'm going to make sure I become committed and dedicated to this task and start doing this religiously or every day, and etc. And it always falls through the waistline. But if you can have that self-discipline, even if you're working on it for 20 minutes every single day, 10 minutes every single day, I'm telling you that you're making much more headspace and progress as opposed to the next man that might kill it for 4 hours in one day and then they don't touch it again for 6 months. So when I say hard work, I mean it wasn't really hard work, because one, I had fun doing it. I was very involved and interested and excited to be partaking in it. And two, it wasn't really hard. I think a lot of people get it misconstrued, like whether it's business, just a certain goal that they're attempting to attain. They think that the finish line is so far away. They think like all they see is that end goal as opposed to the process. And I'm here to say, I think if you can enjoy that process, and I know it's so cliche to say, like it's super cliche to say, enjoy the process, because I mean, to be honest, through the process, what I'm referring to, it wasn't really hard for me. It did take a lot of commitment, but it wasn't really hard. But I understand, like, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether you're trying to lose, 40, 50, 60 pounds in a short time span, and et cetera, that can definitely be, pretty difficult to attain. So that can be considered hard work. But if you actually just focus on it day by day or week by week, as opposed to just that, damn, I only lost 2 pounds this week. I only lost 1 pound within the past month. Maybe that's a bad example, because only losing 1 pound in 1 month, you need to be going a little bit harder. So maybe you're not working as hard as you think you are. However, when you break it up, little by little, section by section, as opposed to the entire catalog, the entire book or whatever, you'll see that you're definitely making some progress, because you're focusing on it inch by inch, So yeah, I don't want to ramble too much. I'm going to actually start doing podcasts more and speaking about what I'm about to present to you all. And hopefully, my main goal is to just inspire one. I think that's the key to life. Me personally, I never had that one individual, maybe like, famous people that I looked up to, whether, Kobe Bryant or Denzel Washington or whomever. I never really had that one individual in my family. Like, now, there were certain family members, of course, that gave me certain nuggets and certain tools that I utilize today that has helped me propel with my business ventures and succeed in a lot of different ways that they didn't even know like I could be utilizing today. So it definitely prepared me. However, it was never that one person that had like the I'm not going to even say that doesn't have the drive that I have, but that maybe they were not as creative as I am. And when I say I'm creative, of course that's subjective, but I find myself just being so interested dabbling in many different things. And essentially that can cripple you, but I can't really help it. I think Gary Vee say that shit a lot. It's just a part of me. I can't help it. I don't have control over it. Like my mind is going to just think, and I find myself, being so focused on this one thing, and then I get focused on something else, and then I start engaging in that. And so, like I say, it's pros and cons to being creative. I'm not sitting here saying that you shouldn't stick to that one thing and go full throttle, full power at that, because that can ultimately be your gift that can catapult other avenues of your life. But if you're always just focused, I talk about it, I guess in what I'm going to present, right? I talk about it in there that it's the difference between a businessman and just a person that's a hustler. I'm sure you've heard, the hustler stories, and I'm not going to even say, when I say a hustler, I'm not talking about a person that deal drugs or et cetera. I'm just talking about a person that he just hustle everybody. He just hustle. He finds certain things to get into. He dip and he dab. He's a painter. He cuts hair. He's cut grass. He does tattoos. He does carpentry work. Like he does everything, and he might make. And it's not all about money. However, everybody loves money. Everybody wish to attain money. Everybody wish they can have an enormous amount of money, period, bottom line. However, but let's just say he does all that and makes $5,000 a month. That's great. I'm not trying to belittle that $5,000 is not any money. However, if he, if he dedicated himself and, a decade, and maybe not a decade, that's a long time, but he dedicated an extended amount of time to that one thing, that one genre, that one business idea. Maybe instead of making $5,000 doing all of those things, he could generate $30,000, $300,000 in that 1 month just with one of those business ideas. You get what I'm saying? So it's definitely a difference, but I kind of give it away. I don't want to prattle too much. So I want to present, it's heavy, right? And it's not big at all. But yeah, let me go ahead and let's get it popping. How's my audio? The reason, I've had this and I wanted to present this to you all maybe for a month now, and my grandmother been like, please, when I'm going to be able to get it, when are you going to start selling, and et cetera, et cetera. But I was waiting on, I just ordered this mic. I think it's called a lavalier, maybe. Don't quote me. But I just ordered this mic that I'm utilizing right now because I wanted to present it to you all. And I essentially want to step into the podcast area, the podcast space, and start doing maybe weekly, whatever that I'm going to start doing, because I'm just giving it away. So let's open it. But I'm glad that the time has come. I just got this mic in maybe 3 days ago, 2-3 days ago, and today is Sunday, so I found some time in my day to carve out some time to present this to you all. I just set up this little podcast space, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make it look nice and classy and elegant, but very subtle. I was about to say something else, but whatever. But I had maybe it's a condenser, and it's crazy because I took, mass communication, so I'm supposed to remember all of this, mass communication, broadcasting, so we learn about different mics and audio and et cetera. But it definitely slipped my mind. 1 and 2, I have a bad memory. Not proud of it, but that's the reality. But I had like I said, I think it's a condenser. I had a condenser mic. It's down here somewhere. But it just kept giving me problems. I think my interface kept giving me problems, and I'll get some crazy feedback. So I've already actually made a video like this, however, I never put it out because the audio sucked. So I'm not even hearing myself back right now. Maybe the audio is bad now. Hopefully it's not, because I just opened this box that I wanted to be, I wanted all this to be like natural. You know, I wanted to, display everything that I'm doing all in one setting. I didn't want to have to tape it back up. So this is my first time seeing what I'm about to present to you all. And of course, I know it's gonna give me butterflies, make me happy, but this is my first time. So, dun, 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 dun. And my grandmother was like, if you had the books for, damn, I just said it. I'm crazy. Maybe I could bleep it out. If you had it for that long, why you just don't start selling? I'm like, no, I want to do a video, like, because I want to get comfortable. I'm not a great speaker. I'm not like a super comfortable speaker. I still get nervous and have anxiety of, about speaking in front of people and etc. But this is something I want to get better at. And I think this podcast space will help me become more comfortable, become more fluent. Sometimes I get, I can't think of the right word to say. I know what I want to say, and a lot of people have that problem. And I say a lot, see? So maybe by the third month, I would have reduced my ums. So I think that's what it's all about. It's just about progression. You don't have to be perfect at something, but as long as you have in mind that, there is room to improve, even if you think you're great at something, there's always room for improvement. That's why Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. That's why Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. There's always room for improvement. So don't allow the fear of being rejected or humiliation, deter you from doing something that you really want to do, that you desire. But yeah, man, look, I'm talking too much. Boom. So, oh my God, look how beautiful. You see that? Do you see it? It's beautiful. So what I'm presenting to you all is a book that I have been working on that I actually wrote and I am the author of, called Thistle in a Gravel Garden. And I'll expound on the title and let you know what it means, as we unpack and unravel the great nuggets and the great gems in this hardback book. I think this is only maybe 25 books, maybe 50. Yeah, maybe this is 50. I'm not sure. But I didn't get any enormous amount because, hey, it's kind of expensive, right? Hardback is kind of expensive. I don't know what I'm going to start selling them for, but so these are the books. However, this is a copy. This was the rough draft that they gave me, the sample. They said, I think it's called the sample. This is the sample that they sent me, and I made some edits in it, and I was like, hey, let's change this, let's do this, let's do that. So I kind of already marked this bad boy up, which I'm glad I was able to utilize a sample book for like corrections. You see, I have like sticky notes in here and stuff like that. And look, what's crazy, so this is another one. I think this is like the first, so this is a copy. So I want to elaborate on this because I'm more than sure people will maybe find Thistle in a Gravel Garden, one of the copies, on like Amazon or something like that, because I actually put this out a year ago, but I never started selling it to the public. But my publishing company was Book Baby, if I'm not mistaken, and they actually released my book on Book Baby and Amazon and Target Online and etc. So if you definitely type this in, you'll find it. However, it is the original copy, but it's not the updated copy. It's not the copy that I would like for you all to digest, because it has a lot of things in here that when I went back and read it 20 times, maybe not 20, definitely not 20, maybe 3 times, I found a lot of things I wanted to alter. Also, when I got these printed and Book Baby released them, I maybe got like 5 or 10 of these. This was a gift. These were gifts that I gave to my family members on Christmas Day of 2020, I think, because if it's 22 now, yeah, I think 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And I talk about that in the book as well. So this was something that I gift for my grandmother Where y'all heard that? Don't know what that was. This is something that I gifted to my grandmother, like I said, a couple years ago. And so she read the older copy, but she never read the updated copy. So, she's been telling all her friends, hey, get a book. Oh, I love it. Of course, that's my grandmother. So she's always going to hype me up. It could be bull crap. It can be the most ridiculous, horrible content. And she's going to still, of course, big me up like it was phenomenal. When I know the reality is, which I talk about in the book, parents is always going to be like a false illustration of like pure, genuine, accurate critique. I'm sure she gave me some things like, hey, maybe you could have did this, did that. Overall, she just said it was a good book. It was a phenomenal book. Maybe she didn't use phenomenal, but she did say it was a good book. However, I guess I critique myself too hard. I don't think it was good. That's why I made some massive alterations. So essentially, I'm saying if you do go online and order this book, or if you have already, you definitely got the older copy. And I would like for you all to have the updated copy. So this was the first one. And I was saying all that to say this was the first one, maybe from like 2 years ago, that I never put out, but it's out, unfortunately. But I canceled my subscription or my services with Book Baby, and the air condition came on. I should have turned it off. Hopefully you all can still hear me, and hopefully it's not aggravating. But I think a lot of people my air condition is just so loud in here. Whatever. I don't want to get carried away. So yeah, that is what this is, and this is what I actually wrote my book in when I started writing. I just started writing one day. I write so small too. I just started writing, and all it started was with the first sentence, which is beautiful. So the first sentence in here, look like all these notes, right? I have my chapter titles, present day, fear is what I thought one of my titles were going to be, chapter titles, but I changed it, of course. Hard work works. I got a chapter called selfish, which I changed that. Passion versus purpose, success, privilege. I changed this from just being privileged. I changed that chapter title. But look, bio and abridgment. It started from the first sentence, right? And the first sentence is, my name is Troy Nelson Bibbins Jr. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My mother name is Ann Bibbins, and father name is Troy Bibbins Sr., and which are still happily married. Now let me see, and maybe I altered. I don't even remember what I started with in this book, and like the updated copy. Let's see. My name is Troy Nelson Bibbins Jr. I am a native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. During my school years, I was an average student who looked at school with grave disinterest. While appreciative of the opportunity to get an education, I made minimal efforts and only did enough to pass in school. So yeah, I altered it, right? Maybe my book editor, Miss Veals, I think it's Miss Burnett Veals, and I'm so sorry. Like I said, my memory is bad, but I think that's her name, Miss Burnett Veals, helped me edit this book. And then, after that, I had maybe like 2 more editors also help me. And I think I got those from, what do you call it? It's a platform that you can spend a minimal amount of money. Maybe it was $50 or $100, and I had somebody, kind of help me edit. Fiverr? No, not Fiverr. I don't remember. Damn, I don't remember. Anyway, so I had like a total of like 3 editors, and then maybe 2 editors with the context of the book, and 1 editor with like the structure of it. I think that's how it was. And then of course all my family. So never rush, if I would have rushed, I would have, printed all these copies and just start selling. And because it's always just room for growth, always room for improvement. And I'm more than sure, 100%. If I give this updated copy to 10 more people, they'll have a lot of edits as well. So it comes to a point you have to kind of dance in the middle and make the best judgment yourself. You don't have to overdo it and And you want to try to get as close to perfection as possible, but don't focus on critique so much that you never actually put it out. That you never deliver the results or your goals, and the goal is to try to get it, in front of the world so they can be inspired by it. So that's something that you have to kind of dance in the middle of and make the best call on that, right? Because as I was stating, if other people read this book, I'm more than sure, maybe I would have got discouraged from their feedback and I would have delayed the process even more. But I think it's important to, hey, don't focus too much on trying to be perfect. Let's put it out. Let's let the people decide. And guess what? There's always room for more opportunity, better chances, growth, and etc. So I can make, I can write 20 more books if I wanted to. So that's always the silver lining in that dark cloud. So the updated chapter titles are Who Am I? So it talks about in the book, who am I? What happened next? So I talk a little bit about the book, maybe my early years and during school and et cetera. And then it says what happened next. And then it also has something in here like, which is my message, what I want to convey to the audience. What's the purpose for this book? Then chapter 1, present day thoughts. That's what I was just thinking at that one time, at that certain day. This was the first day I started writing. I was actually in the River Room downtown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The River Room is like a little laid back, chill spot, kind of classy, that just serves a lot of different liquor and wine. And they have a couch. If you walk in and you just go all the way to the back, the bar's to the right, then they have like a little lounge area of couches. If you just walk directly in the door, go all the way to the back, make that left, you'll see the stairs right here. Don't go up the stairs, but right in front of the stairs, you'll see like a little couch area. So I sat there numerous days just writing away. I love being like in super cool environments that has nice aesthetics, and it allows me just to think and be clever, and well, not clever, but just creative. Anyway, maybe that's the same thing. Not really. Clever sounds more like conniving. Anyway, so that was my present day thought. So I probably wrote that whole chapter in the River Room a couple of years ago. Chapter 2 is negotiating with the potency of fear. So we all know how like real and extreme fear is, but that's something that you have to negotiate with. Like you have to think in your head. There's so many things that people are afraid of, and ultimately everybody will be afraid of something, but you have to negotiate with what you want to orient your fear with, like what you choose. What are you going to choose to be afraid of? Well, let me say this, not what you're going to choose to be afraid of, because some things is inevitable, like you're going to just be afraid, but you have to choose how you're going to attack it maybe. And, dealing with fear, like they may have someone fear taking that step forward and becoming an entrepreneur, but I fear, what if I don't take that step forward? And if I've lived a hard life financially, what if my kids have to reap the consequences of my actions? You get what I'm saying? So that's what I fear. I fear my children, conforming to what I conform to. I feel my children conforming to the normal or the ordinary mindset that a lot of people have. I fear my children, hustling for a weekend as opposed to the remainder of their life. And when I say hustle for a weekend, people work hard all throughout the week just to spend all their money that weekend. How about you hustle hard the first 10 years of your career or whatever, after you turn 18 or graduate high school, hustle hard for 10 years, and then the remainder of your life you can spend that doing with whatever you want to do. So that's what I mean by that. So that's, I choose to have my fear clench to my children not having that opportunity, or me not paving a way for them, because essentially I think I have a very robust mindset. However, everybody is different. What if my children don't have that? What if my children are not assertive? They're super just laid back and kind of nonchalant and passive and an introvert, like all of these things. So they just don't have it in them to have that dog in them to be an entrepreneur or to whatever. I want to make sure I do what I have to do today. So however my children come out, I don't have any children now, they're going to be straight. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. So negotiating with the potency of fear. The next one is what Denzel Washington says, and I always stuck with: hard work works. So the chapter title is Hard Work Works. And that's self-explanatory. Hard work, it actually works. Literally, it works. If you work hard, it's going to work for you. It's going to work out. Everything in life is going to work out for the best. If you work hard, like super hard, not just dancing with the thought of like, do I work hard? Do you have to ask people for them to validate if you're a hard worker, right? And that's just having accountability. I have another chapter in here that talks about accountability. Anyway, that's chapter 8. So we're on chapter 3 right now. Hard work works. Chapter 4. Moral progress champions success. What does that mean? So moral progress. So progress is one thing. Success is also another thing. But what I find true success, it has to be attached to, you making the right decisions in life. You having upstanding morals. Because essentially, talk about in the book, a bank robber. Because you can just say, instead of the moral, you can just say progress champions success, which it does. But it could be a bank robber that, he's succeeding in a way that, I don't know, he's getting, the first time he goes, he might get caught by and I'm just making up stupid illustrations in my head. He might get caught by the police and go to jail for, I don't know, a year or so. Then the second time he's successful and, he might only hit the bank for $5,000, but it was something, the little note he slid to the bank teller, and he got 5,000 up. I don't know. Then the next thing he does, he hits the bank for 3 million, whatever, So in his mind, that's, so in his mind, that's progress, right? And that's success. If I just said progress champion success, but I think in order to really be successful, you have to be righteous, right? So that's what chapter 4 is. Moral progress champion success. Chapter 5. Do not allow your privilege to permit selfishness. So don't allow your privilege to allow being selfish, right? So to elaborate on that a little bit, I think we're all privileged. I think I'm privileged. I'm not talking about white privilege and etc. That is definitely a thing, and I believe that to be true. Definitely white privilege. However, I think the people, you have to look at it through a different lens. The people that are unhealthy, that are ill, super sick, that don't have all their limbs, that whatever, those people probably look at a normal person and be like, damn, bro, you are so lucky. Like, you are so privileged to be able to blase. Or, just to take a step back and not go so extreme. Let's just say a person from a destitute environment that's extremely poor is looking at somebody that's middle class, and the poor person is going to identify the middle class person as just so privileged. However, the middle class person thinks he's a victim, and only the white person, or not, I don't want to identify and just say white, but the rich person is the most privileged, right? So, but basically, I just wanted to highlight what privilege means to me. So I think I'm privileged, right? I think my parents paved the way. They did a fantastic job. They gave me the things necessary in order for me to thrive. Definitely the essentials in life that I needed. Don't allow your privilege to be selfish. So a lot of those people, if you are privileged, I'm privileged, I have a moral obligation, like a no bullshit, like a duty to give back and be the best person that I can be, so I could then show others, you know, how I maneuver through the way to be the best, to be the person I am today, so they ultimately can do the same exact thing. So if you are privileged, don't just turn your nose up to the people that don't really physically or visibly look like, you know, up to par with your standing. That's what I mean by that. Make sure you give back and be that inspiration to somebody else and make somebody's life easier, make somebody else's life better, you know. And a lot of, you know, people fall victim to it, you know, because you're doing so good in life and you don't have time to focus your attention to people that's not going to do anything for you. But I think life is about you doing for others, you serving others, right? So that's chapter 5. Chapter 6, privilege ought to be the sibling of responsibility. That's kind of what I just touched on. So when I say privilege ought to be the sibling of responsibility. If you have privilege, then you have a huge amount of responsibility, period, right? Because the people that's not privileged, they're just, you know, every single day they're just trying to survive. So I'm not going to diminish the role of responsibility and just say the people that have it all together should be the only ones fighting for the people that don't. We all should be fighting. However, if we are well off and somebody else has paved the way for us, or even if you just got it out the mud and, you know, you're self-sufficient or you're self-made, right? We still have a responsibility to make sure we pull another person up, because I think that's the ultimate test. I think that's what Christ is going to, you know, judge us by, right? And that's ultimately who we're fighting for. We're fighting for Christ. We're fighting for, you know, righteousness or spirituality. So that's chapter 6. Privilege ought to be the sibling of responsibility. However, it's not. So that's what I talk about in here. Chapter 7 is passion and purpose. So everybody talk about, do what makes you passionate. Do what makes you passionate. And, you know, I don't want to touch on that too much because I want to dissect this a lot in the chapter 7. So I'll talk about that later. So passion and purpose. Just to, I guess, talk a little bit about it. You know, passion is what you love to do, and purpose is what you are called to do. I think Steve Harvey say, passion is what you are. No, I'm tripping. This is career versus purpose. Maybe he say your career is what you're paid to do, but your purpose is what you are made to do. I think that's what Steve Harvey. That's what he kind of stated. And I may be paraphrasing, I may be off completely, but so I think chasing passion is just selfish because it's all about what you love. It's about what you want to do, and I think purpose is selfless. All right, chapter 8, accountability. So that's the chapter title, accountability. Chapter 9, sporadic and arbitrary thought. So this one I was just wrapping up the book, and basically I have a lot of subtitles, I guess you can say, under chapter 9. So I talk about just arbitrary thoughts, what I was thinking at that very moment when I was wrapping up the book. Another section of chapter 9, another subtitle was mentality over ability. You can have all the ability, all the talent in the world, but if you don't have that dog mentality, not dog, because dog can be like a bad word. I'm not saying like, so I'm saying like a very durable, tough mentality, then that talent is going to fall by the waistline. I promise it happens every time. We all know an individual in high school, middle school, or wherever was super talented, super smart, super, I don't know, they were just super intelligent, right? Or talented, whether it was sports or whatever. And then you see them 5 years later and they're like the lowest that a person can be. And you're like, damn, like you had it all, man. Like you had the most talent in the world. What happened? And that's because they believe that it was ability over mentality. And maybe they did not, but a lot of people do. You know, that's why all these people that are super talented, super arrogant, conceited, can't be told no, can't be told that they need to improve or they are wrong about something, etc. So mentality over ability. The next one, subtitle is win. That's it, just win. You know, a lot of people think like it's so far-fetched to win. Like we're all put here to fucking win. That's what DJ Khaled talk about faithfully. You know, like God did, seriously, like God put you here to be somebody, to be the best person that you can be, so the next person can, that's how the world is going to shift. I promise. Like that's the only way the world will shift for the better. It's going to start with that one person, and that one person is the person in the mirror. Essentially, that's you. And you know, so that's why I titled the chapter just win. Like fuck losing. Why? Like we're not put here to be a loser. You get what I'm saying? Like we want to win. We're going to win. I'm going to win. Even if I fall, I stumble, I trip, I'm going to room, because I always have another chance when God, you know, raises that sun in the morning. Like we always have another chance, another opportunity. So it's called win. Another subtitle is distractions. And that's what a lot of people, you know, distractions is like the main thief of success. And success is subjective. However, you know, your ultimate desire, like what do you really want out of this world? You know, a lot of people might say they want to have freedom. Well, what is freedom to you? Well, because freedom to me is, and freedom is subjective as well, because, you know, 200 years ago, the forefathers were fighting for us. Freedom to them is maybe just not being owned by a white man, right? Being owned by a slave master. However, freedom to me now is not being owned by anybody. You know, not even allowing my landlord to own me, right? So that's relative. So, you know, so whatever your ultimate desire is, usually the life or the way the media paints certain things. Let me not take it back, but let me rephrase. Told you I'm working on my speech. But we're distracted by so many things through sensationalism and what we see on social media. And usually social media paints something that's usually so vivid and pretty and, you know, out of town vacation and etc. Or the bullshit, you fights and all type of just miscellaneous BS, right? All that is distractions on what you really need to be focusing on. And what everybody really needs to be focusing on is service in others. That's it. And once you can really focus on that, like what is going to make somebody else's life better, I promise you're going to be blessed so abundantly. Like I promise. And then, you know, the next subtitle is finishing conviction. And then I have a letter in here written by my grandmother, from my grandmother, and I have a letter in here written by my parents. So yeah, that's the book that I'm super excited about. I'm going to read the back of it. This insightful yet provocative literary. Let's start over. This insightful yet provocative literary work will make you face your true self, and you may not like what you see. That's accountability. There are poignant, real life experiences wrapped in inspirational passages that will make you reflect on your past, rethink your present, and alter your plans for the future. Enjoy the author's wit and knack for blending reality and hope into possibilities for a better life. Then I talk about on the bottom of it a little bit about the author. Troy Nelson Bivens Jr. is a huge advocate of self-development and progress. His passion to inspire and uplift others began in his college years while attending the University of Louisiana Lafayette, UL. Troy aspires to always be better than his former self through sacrifice, hard work, and living purposefully. He feels life doesn't caution us when freedom is on the verge of being compromised. Therefore, we must continue to fight for it inch by inch. Troy is a resident of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I think I've been speaking for a while, and I think it's time to wrap it up. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully once a week, maybe twice a week, I have a few things in here that I highlighted, and this is the sample book. Like you see some, I don't know if you can see, but I have a few things in here that I highlighted that I just wish I wanted to expound on. The first one, and this is in chapter 1, present day thoughts. You read, you get a copy of the book and you read it all yourself, but I'll just be probably focusing on a couple of sentences or a few sentences per chapter. The first one states, and this is what everybody needs to do. Don't try to, definitely convince yourself through affirmations how great you are. However, you have to be realistic with yourself as well. You have to be honest with yourself. The first one, what I want to read is, I stated in the book, and this is just me being honest, I am just an average person. I am not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, nor was I ever perceived smart. Never was I ever perceived as smart amongst my peers. So I am just an average person. I am not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, nor was I ever perceived as smart amongst my peers. And I wrote that just for me to kind of get on a lot of other people level. And I'm not saying that others are not the sharpest tool, but I mean, the reality is that we are not. We have a lot of ways that we need to grow, and we should grow. So that's one thing that I'm aware of, and I'm never going to walk around and act like I'm better than somebody, or I'm one of the smartest people in the world, or I'm a know-it-all. Man, look, I'm a student of the game. I'm a student of life. Every day I'm learning. One thing that I really wanted, growing up, and even now that I don't have, is a mentor. Like, I am a person that, mentor a lot of other people, and I have a lot of, maybe 8 mentees. And that I'll talk to, I'm not going to even say on the daily because I don't want to lie, but I talk to often, at least once a week or whatever. And I've never had that growing up. And I think that's how, you shift the world as well. You inspire so much, like you become inspired by something, and then you inspire another. So I was saying that to just say I am a student. I definitely have flaws. I definitely have a lot of things I wish to improve, and I wish I did have a mentor to help me along the way. However, I'm cool with the way my life is. I'm not complaining about it, because essentially a lot of people, I don't need anybody to put a batter in my back. I mean, just maybe somebody to give me guidance, but we know. The thing is, we know. How do I want to put it? We know right from wrong. And when I say right from wrong, we know what would enhance or improve our life. Like, there's a lot of things that we do just due to passion or desire. Like I say, that passion shit is selfish. Hey, I want to go to a party. What is that party really doing for you? Hey, I'm about to go smoke a joint. What is that really doing for you? However, they say that it allows you to think and etc. Maybe that is true. However, there are a lot of, and I don't want to even go into this topic a lot because it's not for me to, whatever. This topic is not for me because I'm not an avid smoker, so I can't really even touch on that too much. But anyway, what I'm just saying is, like, a lot of people know certain things are not valuable or beneficial for their life, but they still do it because it makes them feel good. Well, a lot of things in life, it's not gonna, that shouldn't be the only, what am I trying to say? Like, searching for happiness shouldn't be the only source. Like, it shouldn't be the only way. That shouldn't be the only I can't think of that fucking one word I want to fucking say. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. However, I'm so sorry for cursing. That was crazy. But I do curse a lot, and I need to get better at that. But you shouldn't be searching for just happiness. You shouldn't only be doing things that's only going to make you happy and things that you want to do. A lot of the reason the world or certain things are here and set in place that's valuable to us, that make our life easier, is maybe through something that our parents didn't want to do, but whether that's driving a car. And I know this is super, it's very practical what I'm saying right now, and like really Troy, but I'm being honest. Like a lot of things that we utilize today was made or produced by somebody that really didn't want to do it. Like even our forefathers paving the way for us. That wasn't a joyful environment for them. Look, this is me, Abuela calling now. She probably gonna be like, "You did your podcast yet? When the book gonna come out?" Anyway, so I forgot where I really was, but I think I was just saying, just make sure you focus on your purpose as opposed to passion. Like, don't just do what just makes you just happy, because that shouldn't be the fight. Just doing things that make you happy, because essentially, if you are living in your purpose, if it's truly your purpose, that's gonna make you happy, or not even happy, but it's gonna make you satisfied, right? Wonder how happy Martin Luther King was, or Malcolm X. Like, wonder how happy those individuals were. But were they living in their purpose? Will their name be remembered forever? Absolutely. And that's what the fight is. That's what we are fighting for. To be able to shift the culture, shift the humankind in better posture than it was previously. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Don't just focus on things that just make you happy. Focus on things that's going to alter the world for the better. And I think I'm about to sign out. My lady will be getting here in a few, and she's gonna, when she walks in the door, she's gonna ruin my podcast. I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna get better equipment. But yeah, I'm about to sign out. I love you all. I'm excited about this journey. I do want you all to grab a book. You can find the book in my bio, a link in the bio or down below, and because I'm going to put this on YouTube. I have a YouTube, but I never uploaded a video on YouTube, so maybe this will be my first upload on YouTube. So I got to figure it out, but I'm telling you now, hey, the link is in the bio, or the link is down below in the what section is it? The information section, whatever. So go purchase, and it is a hardback. I currently don't have any softbacks right now, but I think this book will. And just stay tuned. My Instagram is Thistle in a Gravel Garden. The book title, and I'll be posting some things about the book, like certain gems that I have written in the book on Instagram. And if you feel like you can relate to it, maybe you should purchase the book and read the entire thing, because I think essentially it could definitely help. That's the reason why I wrote the book, to help others. So yeah, I'm signing out. Troy Nelson Bibbins Jr. Peace.